1. And we are back live from Clearwater, Florida for the 13th annual Baystar Clearwater Offshore Nationals, presented by Visit St. Pete Clearwater. And Todd Swarford joined again by John J.W. Powell. We're seeing the Class 1 boats come out for racing. This is our second of 4 races today. We've had the Mod Vs, Stock Vs, and bracket boats come out. We have some sorting out there to do. We definitely have some corrections to make, as the Hooters Sunprint boat did get around all of the laps in first, and they unofficially are your winners in the Mod V class. We will sort all of that and give you our unofficial winners in bracket class. In Stock V, it was LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness, the RWO oil boat that led from start to finish. We apologize for missing Sunprint, but again, we're going to sort all of that out. And thanks for hanging with us here on the Race World Offshore Facebook page. We're also broadcasting here locally in the Tampa Bay area on News Talk 1040 WHBO, also at 94.5 FM, newstalkflorida.com. And of course, if you're here locally on the beaches, you can tune us up on the radio or on their website. Obviously, if you're watching worldwide or somewhere around Tampa Bay bars and enjoying this out here in Clearwater, it's a beautiful day. The live stream has all the action the rest of the afternoon here at Race World Offshore's Facebook page. Now, the big Class 1 boats are heading out. Just a real quick update, JW, unofficially. We had some mix-up here as we missed the Sunprint Hooters boat come by, but they did finish first in Mod V. Boatfloater.com really ran a strong race today. They took second. Sheriff Lobo took third.
Yeah, it was really a great race. You saw a lot of action coming down the home stretch here in front of us. But those boats were running really good. It looks like everybody had them dialed in. Like we said earlier, Sheriff Lobo, this is their first race back out. So they were just running a little bit behind those other guys.
And in Stock V, LSB RWO Oil first. We had a flip there. It was North Myrtle Beach RV in second. Twisted T took third. All of these are unofficial results. In bracket 3, Team Woody 327 first. SRR's Mad EFI second, and Harpoon Harry's in third. In Class 4, Control Freak first. Cigarette Justice League second. Simmons Racing in third. Again, these are all unofficial. These are bracketed boats, and there could be some breakouts that would affect the scoring. In bracket Class 5, first went to Golf and Gator Team Woody. Second, goodcar.com. Third, Team Farmsworth 549. That's Papamigos. Fourth, On Edge. And fifth, Hammerheads Yabba Dabba Doo 6th. In bracket Class 6, Powerhouse Racing first. Jackhammer second. Gerard Marine third. In bracket Class 7, Steel Racing, Arshore Omies in first. Steel Racing in second.
Like we said, these are unofficial results. We're fairly confident in the accuracy at this point. We just talked with race control, and the only things would be, as Todd said, if there's a breakout where a boat exceeded its bracketed speed, or if a boat hits one of the buoys in the turns, or anything else that the referee sees that could cause a penalty.
All right, we have orange smoke. Now, folks, for the very first time here in Clearwater, Class 1 is racing. This is a prestigious international series that is now running through the APBA and UIM here in the United States, and will be finishing their World Series in Key West the week of November 6th. And your lineup for today's race, and leading in their worldwide point series, Huski Chocolate, a 47 victory hull with the 1100 Mercury Racing engines. Travis Pastrana driving, and the 8-time Class 1 world champion Steve Curtis on the throttles. 222 Australian Navy, another victory hull with the 1100 Mercury Racing engines. Peter McGrath with Giovanni Carpatella. Peter sitting in, he of course is the technical director for Australian Navy for Darren Nicholson. D.F. Young, a 50-foot Mystic with 1,100 horsepower Stotler engines. Rich Wyatt and Mark Granite of Geico Racing fame back in at the top level here to race in Class 1. JBS Racing is your next boat, a 43 MTI with 1116 power. Jeff Stevenson and Michael Stamcombe, and XInsurance, Good Boy Vodka, Alex Pratt, Miles Jennings, a 6-time Cows champion, and a 43 MTI, formerly Performance Boat Center with 1100 horsepower Mercury engines. As you see, the boats have gotten up and start. We've got your lineup, and we are underway. 222 had the inside lane to start, and they're taking advantage of it as they come down in front of the fans here near Pier 60. We are racing for Class 1 World Championship points. That's the 222 Navy in the early lead here in Class 1. They're running second overall in the World Point Series. Huski Chocolate charging in on the outside near the pier. 222 is going to have the inside line. Huski goes out wide. Those are both stern drive boats with rudders. In third, D.F. Young dives to the inside in between as Huski pulls ahead on the outside with more speed. 222 took the inside line as they soared out, heading on the 2-mile northbound leg. Now that's JBS Racing, excuse me, on the inside. 222 has got to be right in there in the wash somewhere.
222 is way, way, way out in front, Todd.
They are. I'm sorry. From the live stream, I can only see Huski Chocolate and JBS and DF Young. So they're running second, third, and fourth. So JBS battling right now side to side with DF Young. Michael Stancombe and Jeff Stevenson got that boat running real well for the first time. They were very happy with how the boat was going in St. Petersburg up until the end. And then they had some problems and fell off the podium. So your early leader, there they are, the 222 Australian Navy. Peter McGrath, he's won world championships. He's an international racer from New Zealand. He races as he is the team's technical director. He's sitting in for Darren Nicholson. There's your great shot of Class 1 boats at the highest level, folks. Twin 1100 horsepower engines in the back of these boats. As they come back down on the north line, this will be after lap number 1. Now, these boats are racing 13 laps, 57 miles. We're just underway. Class 1, 222 Australian Navy. Has the early lead, Peter McGrath and Giovanni Carpatella. Beautifully prepared 49-foot victory hull. Giovanni Carpatella, a longtime Class 1 racer, also raced on the X-Cat series. Peter McGrath on the wheel. Peter won a world championship in Key West, driving alongside Ross Willington and Team Maritimo. So it's 222, then it's Huski Chocolate. 222 taking that number 1 pole position, inverted from the start in St. Pete. They get the position after finishing last. DF Young battling on the inside against Huski Chocolate. DF Young running in third. That's Travis Pastrana and Steve Curtis in the Huski Chocolate Husky Wear team. Running a little off the pace. Remember, they started slow in Sarasota and then ran down 222. Looks like JBS is running just behind DF Young in fourth. So next year, all of these boats will have to have the class power, the Mercury sealed quad cam, 4-valve turbocharged 1100 horsepower engines. This year, they're allowing some other teams in, other engine builders, but they have to detune their engines to 1100. Rich Wyatt has already made the commitment, and DF Young, he's already bought his sealed Mercs. And the idea here is to make sure everybody has the same equipment. Holds the budgets down. It became a problem in Class 1 racing late in its run in the Persian Gulf, racing against the highly financed Victory team. There's Steve Curtis. He's the 8-time Class 1 world champion. He won his first world championship as a young Brit, 21 years old, in 1985 in Key West. In a Cougar team boat, his father was an early developer of the catamarans with Cougar Marine that dominated the 1980s and early 90s of racing. They're running back in second place here in Class 1. We've got 2 laps in the books. In Class 1, 222 Offshore has the early lead. That's Huski Chocolate. This is a stern-driven boat, a surface drive boat with a rudder. 2 leading boats right now have the rudder system. You can turn those boats really hard. Here's 222. Looks like they're having some issues getting right back up to speed. These big 1100 horsepower engines aren't quick to accelerate, but when they load up, they have a lot of power.
Yeah, it really looks like the Australian Navy boat, the 222 boat, is carrying some tremendous speed down the straightaways, both down the back and the front. It appears they're having a little bit of a slower in the turn, and Husky's able to make up some ground, but they just take right off and open up the gap again on the straightaways.
Yeah, you could see there, but Husky Chocolate running super as well. Now, the rest of the boats in the field have the M6, the Mercury drives, and most folks will tell you that they're just about as good. Probably don't turn as well as the big rudder boats. So you have about a 4-foot shaft coming out of the back of these boats. Propellers mounted just in front of a little correction there on that turn by Peter McGrath.
Yeah, he dug in a little bit there.
Yep. And the rudders, big rudders, are positioned behind the props. It gives them a lot of leverage in the water, and they can turn these boats pretty hard. So they'll turn a little better than the M6s. So we see D.F. Young coming around in 3rd place here in Class 1. And JBS back in 4th on lap number 2. So the M6s may have better speed in the straightaways than the acceleration, but they're very compatible. If you talk to any of the guys, they do have their preferences. Now, when you design one of these boats, you've got to pick what you're going to put on the back of it, especially for the rudder boats. If you're going to put a stern drive, or if you're going to put a surface drive on the back of the boat, you've got to set it up in the early production schedule. There's D.F. Young. Good to have Mark Granite back. Of course, he's teamed up quite a bit with Rich Wyatt. The boat's been known as Citron. They're running in 3rd place as they come through. Just passing the start-finish line was 222 Offshore and Huski Racing running 1-2. They've gone through the turn. You can see Huski as they move to the right of the screen, now back following D.F. Young. They're running 1100 horsepower Stadler Racing engines. And now running in 4th place, JBS Racing. Jeff Reynolds and Mike Stancombe. Jeff Reynolds developing the 16 power engines. These he has detuned down to 1100. He's made a commitment to purchase a 438 Skater from Peter Layden. That was reported on speedonthewater.com. Still deciding what kind of power he's going to put in that boat. Similar to what Tyler Miller of IMCON is committed to by. Apparently Peter Layden wants to get a shot at Class 1 racing and feels very confident about his 438 Skater with that Mercury powered 1100. We look at your overall leader, and again, they have that little dig in, straighten themselves back up around the turn. There's your overall leader. 222 Offshore chasing him down, we'll find out the splits here soon. Huski Chocolate running in 2nd place. We're 3 laps in on a 13-mile course here today. These boats running 57 miles. Back in 3rd, D.F. Young. There's your leader. Again, Darren Nicholson from Australia, normally in that boat, was unable to make it here. And his tech director, Peter McGrath, at the wheel. Giovanni Carpatella is throttling. He's a longtime offshore racer on the UIM circuit. 10-second lead over Husky Chocolate. Carpatella raced in a very popular boat in Class 1 called T-Bone Station. Also raced successfully with the UCAT, the XCAT series in a boat similarly titled. There's DF Young. They're running in third. So we're 4 laps in. 222 Offshore first, Husky Chocolate second, DF Young third. And there's our 4th place boat, JBS, coming through. We've yet to see the XInsurance Good Boy Vodka team pass here. They must have had some issues.
They're on the straightaway right now, getting ready to pass the start-finish line.
Okay, so is this the first time they've been through?
No. They're
okay.
The boats have all held the same place and position as they did on the start.
Thanks, Dub. The XInsurance team, my apologies, has been running in 5th place here. First time that I've been able to catch them going by. That's the former Performance Boat Center MTI that the team moved from the skater that they won a couple of world championships with. They are also running the Merc Seal Quad Cam 4-valve turbocharged 1100 horsepower engines. They're having some issues. Could be a gardening in mode issue, possibly. Maybe not. They're having maybe
they're coming off
drive
a plane
problem running those M6s. But they're looking at possibly getting another boat for next year. Alex Pratt with Miles Jennings, who just won the Cowes Torquay Championship, a historic race. Great story about Cowes Torquay, by the way, on speedonthewater.com. All right, look at our leaders in Class 1 coming in after lap 6. It still continues to be 222 Offshore, 222 Australian Navy, McGrath and Carpatella running in first place. He'll make the pass by Pier 60. And Husky Chocolate has cut that lead down just a little more than a second. Just a shade under 9 seconds behind 222. Looking back at JBS Racing, DF Young holds third. The racers will tell you this is the part of the course that sometimes as the day goes on get a little tricky, especially with the outgoing tide. Might get a little bump there on that south end. Generally speaking, the north end of the course pretty smooth. Dub, earlier today we saw a lot of, especially with the 27 boats we had out on the course, we saw a lot of chop coming into the shore, and some of the 30-foot V-bottoms were bouncing around quite a bit. These boats should be able to handle it all in the 43 to 50-foot range. JBS running in 4th here overall. We are slowly approaching the halfway point of this 13th annual Baystar Clearwater Offshore Nationals. 222 Offshore still look like they always try to have to correct themselves a little bit, straighten themselves out. They don't seem to be too worried about Husky Chocolate, but I think they're going to have to be soon. We'll see how close the margin has been shaved to on this next lap. But 222 Offshore continues to hold. See one of the rescue helicopters chasing. Husky Chocolate in second, your overall points leader in Class 1 for the World Series. Travis Pastrana and Steve Curtis. Gary Stray, the technical director, has that boat running flawlessly. They're a tough team to beat. Steve Curtis and Gary Stray working together, quite a bit of knowledge. Husky fell about a half a second off on that lap. So we're 6 laps in.
On the far side of the course, the good boy Vodka XInsurance boat just had the towboat approach them and offer assistance, and they refused. So they're still under their own power.
Boy, big noise, big sound coming from those Stotler Racing engines. DF Young. And I'll tell you, having Mark Granite added to this class is going to bring quite a bit of excitement. Known for his days running alongside Scott Begovich and the Geico Racing team. There's JBS Racing, and they continue to hold fourth after lap number 6. Again, boat running very well. Michael Stamkomb, Jeff Reynolds have to be happy. And if they decide to continue to go Class 1 racing next year with those Merc engines and a 438 skater, you would add Imcon to these boats. What they expect to have a growing field. Try to reestablish a brand that has a tremendous history associated with powerboat racing. The likes of Richard Bertram, Don Aronow, Betty Cook, Fabio Buzzi, Steve Curtis have won world championships and hoisted the Class 1 trophy. All right, here come your leaders. They pretty much held this position. You got Husky Chocolate just a little inside 10 seconds behind the 222 Offshore. They had the pole, and they took advantage of it, got to the first turn, and has maintained that position. Let's see if Husky's just toying with them and waiting to put the move on. There's 222 Offshore.
I've been following the boats closely around the turns, and 222 seems to be taking the outside line every time. Steve Curtis and the Husky Chocolate staying on the inside line, but they just can't seem to cover the ground.
Well, Husky's fallen off another couple of seconds, now 11 seconds behind 222 Offshore. Steve Curtis, in the midst of winning 8 world championships, won 6 in 8 years. Pretty monumental feat. DF Young finishing up lap number 7. Continuing to run in third. They really, they impressed in St. Petersburg. Seem to be a little bit off from that performance here today. But again, if you know Mark Granite's involved and Rich Wyatt making a commitment, that team will be reckoned with on this Class 1 tour. And JBS Racing, those .16 power engines performing well here today, continue to hold 4th place.
I hate to say it, but the XInsurance Good Boy Vodka boat has motored through the spectator fleet. They're on the outside. I don't believe they can get back into this race at this point. It appears as if they're just slowly motoring back towards the pits.
There we have the top 2 boats, 222 Offshore and Husky Chocolate. Husky has a commanding lead in the World Championship Series. They've won all but one of the races. 222 did take a 1 first place finish. 222 is, well, 42 points back from Husky Chocolate in the World Championship Series. Really, a podium finish is certainly a 1-2 finish is very good for Husky Chocolate. Of course, they always want to be up at the top. And they're laying back. They're falling back about another second here on, as you see them come around at the end of lap number 8. Again, very cushy lead for them in the National Series. 3 races left for them. So they'll head to Key West for the World Championships the week of November 6th. We were talking, as you just saw, Husky Chocolate. There's JBS. DF Young just coming through in third position. As they fall off the pace just a bit. Mark Granite and Rich Wyatt, 50-foot Mystical Stotler Racing engines. Now heading on the 2-mile northbound leg. Here continuing to hold third place. There's JBS Racing. Both running very well. Good conditions, great shots. There as they pass Pier 60 into the south end turn. Water really looking like glass here off of Clearwater Beach today. All right, here's your leaders, 222 Offshore and Husky Chocolate. It was talking about that span in late 1990s and 2000 when Curtis won 6 of 8 world championships with Spirit of Norway. And he did that against the highly competitive and hard to beat Victory Team. Victory Team at one point in Class 1 won 19 of 26 Class 1 world championships. And in the midst of that, Steve and Shell Roque won 6 of 8 from them. Pretty hard work. 222 Offshore. The Australian Navy team, boy, they gotta like their day today. Husky Chocolate running in second, still continuing right there, maybe a shade to half a second off there on that lap. Or Giovanni Carpatella is laying off a little bit. They run second, so we're now 9 laps through this 13-lap course. DF Young, this is the way the race has gone. We haven't seen any change in positions. They're running third. No traffic, easy to make the 2-pin turn. And then JBS coming down in front of the spectator fleet, and also the white sand beaches here of Clearwater Beach. Certainly one of the coolest places to watch a race from. The race course plays out right in front of these white sand beaches in Clearwater Beach. JBS Racing. 16 power, 1100 horsepower detuned engines. Of course, those bad boys can go way up. They'll race at 1100 against the Merc Seal quad cam 4-valve turbocharged engines that are the official power from Mercury of this class. And here come the leaders once again. We're down to a little over 3 laps to go. This is the way this race is played out throughout the day. Triple two, Australian Navy. Again, Peter McGrath, the technical director, he's had to take the wheel. Darren Nicholson unable to make this race. He's familiar to offshore fans, not only internationally racing New Zealand, Australia, but as well, he won a world championship in Key West. He's raced with the Maritimo team as well. Very experienced guy in the machine shop, wrenching, and also in the cockpit, knows his game. Husky Chocolate running in second and still running right there at about 12. They're holding. You know, those guys are in complete communication. Husky Chocolate, Gary Stray's team has telemetry and communication inside with the boys. So, I mean, they know exactly what's going on in front of them and behind them. And they're obviously getting advice from Stray as this race is playing out again with a commanding lead in the Class 1 point series. Second place point finish behind a first place 222, and they're really only going to give up 5 points in the World Series point standings.
That's amazing technology on that Husky boat, is they're able to, what you say, telemetry. They're sending a signal back to the pits that allows them to monitor the engine temperature, the RPMs, the speed, and everything, so they can talk very closely with the driver and the throttle man. So they're just in touch with all of the onboard systems while these guys are out there just putting the screws to it.
Yeah, and it's something we'd like to see in all the boats. There are systems like Ames that they could feed the speeds of the boats and the scoring of the boats back to race control, even to the fans, to watch it real time, as well as giving telemetry from the boat, data logging from how they're performing, make sure the boats are staying within the rules. So Class 1 racing is coming into the final 2 laps, and Australian 222 has just finished up lap 11 of 13. Continues to hold off the Husky Chocolate. Got 2 victory holes there, both with surface drives and rudders, which is very much the norm in Class 1 racing pre-COVID. At one point, the technology was just off the chain in Class 1. Late 1990s into 2000, really the development of some of the most historic hulls, some of the fastest hulls in the technology that we have here today, that is very commonplace in Skater and Mystic, is really brought to the forefront by Class 1 racing. Michael Peters, the great designer of boats, was making coups, actually building them in the United States, and then went to work for Tenkara in Italy. And those boats were racing first on the Class 1 World Series. Then Peters went to work for the Victory Team. Victory Team hired some of the best people in the business. Prior to that, Randy Sissom, before he came back stateside to start MTI. But that whole bank of knowledge that they gathered by bringing in the best people in the world, it led Victory to be quite a formidable team. And they had the best equipment and the best engine people. And obviously those boats, they started building them with carbon fiber, very lightweight but strong. Changed the CG on the boats, the longitude center of gravity, moved the fuel tanks around, and were able to get those boats running at optimal performance, and especially even in rough water. And this is that technology. It's a big Victory hull with the Mercury 1100 comp engines, the official power of Class 1. 1 lap to go. Peter McGrath and 222 Australian Navy, your leader in Class 1. Make that turn for the last time. Should be the last lap of the day. And right behind them, Husky Chocolate. We'll see where he is going for the final time into the south turn. He's now 14 seconds behind. So basically the strategy of Husky Chocolate, we're in a commanding points lead in Class 1. Second place finish, we only give up 5 points. We're already 40 points ahead in the series with 3 races left, and then so second place finish, not too bad. You live to fight another day. Travis Pastrana, what a ride that is. He thought riding that little Subaru that he jumped over the Geico boat was fun. Well, maybe it is a little more fun than that, but at the same time, quite a ride to be in a rocket ship on the water, 2,200 horsepower. Those beautiful Mercury engines are turbocharged.
Well, it's a flat, calm day too, Todd.
On
a rough day, that's a little bit different.
Well, they did build these boats to span the waves pretty well. And if anybody, there's DF Young, my goodness, they're off plane. They're going to get passed by JBS. Something happened on that 12th lap to DF Young, and they're getting passed and lapped now by 222. There's JBS. They've now moved into 3rd place. A podium finish for them today. Just one more lap to go. Boy, those guys got to be hooting it up. Michael Stancomb and Jeff Reynolds. And here comes, unofficially, your winner here today in Class 1. That's Peter McGrath from New Zealand. Giovanni Carpatello from Italy. 222 Offshore, Australian Navy. Winner today here in Class 1 at the 13th Annual Baystar Clearwater Offshore Nationals. There they go across the start-finish line. And here comes Huski Chocolate. They will take 2nd. They will finish 2nd only for the 2nd time this year on the Class 1 series. And if all holds true, it looks like JBS will take 3rd place today. So, yeah, you can see them coming around. They're coming off plane, although they will not get checkered flags here today. That's how they're going to finish. These results obviously unofficial here today. But what a ride for 222 Australian Navy. 2nd victory of the year for them in a victory hull. Great day. Peter McGrath and Giovanni Carpatello. And last time around that north turn, JBS
Yeah, you see the DF Young, they've got their hatches up and they're just puttering through the infield.
Well, they had run very strong. Make no mistake, moving forward, that's a boat to be reckoned with. Herb Stotler's engines are solid. But they're working on a short schedule of getting that boat up and running here late in the season. Great commitment from them to come Class 1 racing. They've run that boat at the highest levels, as has Jeff Reynolds here in JBS. I mean, run them as unlimited boats when that class was available with the big, power up to 1800. Either one of those boats, but now they're in the game. They want to play with the other teams that are running the Merc Comp engines 1100, and they've detuned these engines to do that, and there they are. They are on the podium today. Jeff Reynolds and Michael Stancomb, JBS. Big win for 16 power today. 43 MTI. 3rd place today in Class 1. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time here in Clearwater, you have watched Class 1 racing. And hope to share that with you in the years to come. You can, of course, follow the World Championships the week of November 6th, either by getting yourself to Key West, the historic 41st Annual World Championships, or you can follow it, obviously, on the Race World Offshore Facebook page. So big day for Darren Nicholson, even though he's not here to hoist the trophy, but he's got to be happy back there in Australia. 222 Offshore, his team, with Peter McGrath sitting in for him in the cockpit, wins the 13th Annual Baystar Clearwater Nationals, and 2nd place goes to Huski Chocolate. So Peter McGrath was driving in 222, Giovanni Carpatello, the throttle man, and then Huski Chocolate, Travis Pastrana and Steve Curtis take 2nd in the Huski Chocolate. In 3rd, JBS Racing, Jeff Stevenson. I believe I got Reynolds in my head. And then Michael Stancomb. Michael Stancomb with his 16-powered 43 MTI. JBS Racing takes 3rd. 4th place, breaking down after the final lap, was DF Young, Rich Wyatt, and Mark Granite. And retiring early with mechanical issues, the XInsurance Good Boy Vodka team.
You were talking about this being the first year that Class 1's raced here in Clearwater, and the organizers of Race World Offshore really did justice to this race. Normally, the Race World people are running a 3-race format on race day. Today, they decided to go with 4 races, have just the Class 1 boats out there, where in the past, we've seen them running with Super Cats and another class. Last year, it was a Class 450, but it gets a little bit confusing, and what happens too with these bigger, faster boats is they start lapping other boats, and I think that could be a little bit of a safety concern. So having them out there running on the course by themselves was just a great move by Race World Offshore.
Our next race will come your way in just about 50 minutes. We'll probably get back on with the live stream and here live in the Tampa Bay area on our local radio affiliate just in about 50 minutes or so at with the Super Cats, JW, and the 450R.
Yeah, stock 450.
Yep, they'll run the Super Cats will run the same number of laps as the Class 1 boats. Just did 13 laps, 57 miles, and stock 450R 11 laps and 48 miles. So, and in Super Cat class, that thing right there is going to be super exciting because Super Cat points are tight in the APBA National Series, and you have less than 10 points separating the top 3 boats. As IMCON has just a 6-point lead, and then 1 point behind Pro Floors, who's in second. It's the Grade L team. So lots going to be determined here in the final 2 races of the APBA National Series, and this one's going to be big, as it's all going to come down at 2 o'clock when the Super Cats come out here, and those boys are loud. It's always tight racing. Ought to be real exciting. Again, congratulations going to the 222 Offshore team with Peter McGrath and Giovanni Carpatella. They take first place in Class 1, 222 Australian Navy. Second place goes to Husky Chocolate with Travis Pastrana and Steve Curtis. Third place, JBS Racing, Jeff Stevenson 16 Power with Michael Stancombe on throttles takes third place in Class 1. Again, we'll be back in just a little over half an hour. Please stay with us on the live stream and tune back in at that time here locally in the Tampa Bay area on News Talk 1040 WHBO 94.5 FM and newstalkflorida.com. Again, more coming up here on the live stream on the Race World Offshore Facebook page. We'll see you just shortly.